Coach, just how pleased were you with Cal's performance tonight, stepping in for Patrick?
Yeah, I think Cal's 7 minutes were probably the most important 7 minutes we've had all season. He came in, had a block shot, caught it, dunked it, but just being big and physical in there and just making it, making it as tough for Hunter as possible. Um, he's progressing nicely. We've talked about it before. It's hard to get him minutes where he's going to get confidence, but you know, it was a big 7 minutes.
Um, do you feel like Jameer's just kind of continuing to become more aggressive, and was there an emphasis on him continuing to attack?
No, I think the biggest thing that we've talked about with Jameer, and I've talked about Jameer, was just being patient and learning the league. Um, I think he's playing as good as any player in the country right now, and I think he's gotten comfortable with the length and size he has to go against every night. It's a big adjustment, seeing the centers he sees, the coverages he's seeing. I just think he's starting to get a little bit more comfortable with, not settling to be on the perimeter, which I thought, even though he was playing well in the beginning of the year, I thought I think he's gotten more comfortable just being more aggressive.
And obviously very few turnovers and even
I
fewer
know, it's
live ball turnovers. I
It's
mean,
I'm throwing a party at the house tonight.
any idea?
I think this is the first time we've had a positive assist turnover ratio in like 6 games. Yeah, being at home's nice. I think we've gotten a little rattled on the road, to be perfectly honest with you. And at times we've played a little bit too fast on the road, and I think we've gotten a little rattled on the road. And I think that's where some of the turnovers have occurred. I think at home we've done a pretty good job taking care of the basketball and at least getting shots up, which I thought was important.
Coach, it seemed like Julian Reese did a better job today than he has in the past of staying out of foul trouble. What did you see from him, especially in that second half, that allowed him to stay aggressive but stay out of foul trouble?
I think Julian played as good a basketball game as you can against probably one of the best players in the country. I thought he was physical all night. I thought he stuck to the game plan. He got up the line. He battled. He made it tough for Hunter. I mean, you take away Hunter's 3 threes, he only had 10 and 9 the way 10 and 10 the way I look at it. So ever since Juju's sort of gotten healthy and got his legs back, I think he's playing really good basketball. But I thought that was the best game he's played all year.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was going to ask. Is last time you guys saw Hunter, he had dropped 32 and 12, and compared to that, you guys did limit him. So, what changed about your approach, if anything, besides Juju getting healthy?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't play well, and he played really well in that first game. And then, the starters played really bad. So I played our bench guys for like 20 minutes. I kind of waved the flag early, to be honest with you. We weren't going to win after we got that. I think we had 4 points with, I don't know, 6 minutes to go. It was the first time since Tennessee. I think the biggest thing was they understood how we had to play them. I think playing him a second time, especially Julian, I think he had such a better feel for what he had to do. I think that's the important. When you play a team back, you play the two teams twice, you have such a better feel how you have to defend them.
Coach, can you talk about how effective your zone defense was and kind of what makes you want to play that against certain opponents?
Yeah, we want to play it all the time. It's just we don't score on the road. So, like, when you don't score and you're in transition defense, it's really hard to play zone when you're missing shots and you're getting back. I mean, we want to press and get into it. We've just struggled. I mean, we've struggled on the road to score. So it's very hard. The press and zone is designed to be something that's continuous, that makes teams think, that wears you down a little bit, that makes you take shots. When you score once every 5 minutes, it's not very effective and it's not worth doing. And at home, it's been very effective because we've been able to score. And I know it sounds stupid, but I thought if we could just get 5 points, we'd be okay in the first 10 minutes. So once we got 5, everyone kind of relaxed, and I thought we played pretty good.
Hey, Coach, you dominated the paint. You were getting downhill in the first half almost at will. What that looked like it was a point of emphasis coming into tonight?
No, I think that's something we've talked a lot about as a team. It's just not we started the year and we took a lot of threes. I'd still like to take more than 15 threes, but I think understanding that we got to be a little bit more aggressive getting the ball into the paint. And I think it starts with Jameer. I think Jameer has just been, he's been so aggressive. He's been getting in there, and I just think it's opening up driving lanes for other guys. And I thought Ian was really good at just being aggressive today and not trying to complicate the game.
And several times it seemed like on defense you were able to shove Dickinson off of
I
the
didn't do it.
blocks. Well, your players were able to shove him off of the box when he was receiving it. He was several feet out. Was one of the emphasis being a lot more physical with him?
Yeah, again, it's when you see a guy like him the second time, I wouldn't say he's not easy to defend at all. He had 19 and 10. But I think, again, as Julian's a sophomore, he hasn't been through this league, and he hasn't played against Hunter 9 times. So, now that he saw him, I just think he has such a better feel for how to defend him. That's what I was really happy with Juju in practice the last 2 days. And, he understood it was more about angles and not giving him, we gave him way too many direct post passes in the first game. I just think Juju took it on himself to be physical and understood angles, played the angles the right way. I thought our weak side help was great. And I thought Juju was terrific.
Hey, Kevin, over here. Considering how the last game went for you guys to kind of come out and take that lead
It's a
early.
place that loves the last game on it, isn't it?
Sorry, but for you guys to come out.
Kind of have a rule in Jersey that we kind of just let blowouts go away, and we don't really talk about them.
Well, that plays into the question for you guys to come out and take that early lead and not even give it up.
I'm not joking. I told the team, I
Yeah.
said, if we get 5 points in the first 5 minutes, we'll win the game.
And I guess kind of a follow up to that, you've talked so much about how this is a really tough league to play in. For your team to respond to the adversity they've had with this performance tonight, how much does that impress?
Yeah,
you?
I mean, I'll beat a dead horse because I'm really good at it. 4 of our first 6 games were on the road. We're going to see Wisconsin twice, Michigan twice, Purdue, Illinois. I mean, we've been on the road, and I'll be honest with you, it's really hard to get in rhythm when you're getting on the airplane, like we're getting on the airplane on Saturday. It's I have been. Lenardi still has us as a 9 seed. Our net's really good. Our KenPom's really good. I know this place is crazy. Like I thought we were in a great spot. If we take care of home and we can keep our home wins and maybe finally play well, we're in a great spot. I mean, that's the great thing about playing well in the non-conference. So every once in a while, you play bad, and in this league, if you play bad on the road, you're going to get embarrassed, and that's what happened. But again, it wasn't that big of a deal to me. I mean, if you lose by 2, you lose by 40, it's just one of those things. It doesn't bother me. So we're right where we want to be. We're 3 and 4 in conference. I'm pretty happy with where we are, considering the fact that we've had the hardest conference schedule in the league. I mean, it's not even close. So for us to battle and be where we are, this team has showed a lot of heart and a lot of grit.
Kevin, a 58, 59 possession type of game today with that sort of defense. Is this kind of a blueprint, you think, a roadmap for how this particular team
Yeah, for this
is going to be able to succeed the rest of the way?
Yeah, I think I'd like to see us play. I still like to see us play a little faster at home, be a little bit more aggressive. I think they're unique in the fact that they can bring Hunter up against the press. There's not too many teams that can do that. It is really, it gets them away from the basket a little bit. But I would like to see I think we need to play a little bit faster because we're still not as big and physical as most teams. On the road, I think this is something that this team's is really starting to figure out, is that it's okay to walk the ball up the floor every once in a while. It doesn't have to be pushed every time. But at home, I think I'd like to see us, again, give them credit. They used a lot of clock a lot of times. So I would like to see us play a little bit faster at home. But again, as long as we keep winning at home, I don't care.
You mentioned one of the toughest stretches in the Big Ten. When you come back home, how much of the emphasis is to trusting your guys to get back to the good habits that got you off to the good start, as opposed to moving away from some of the bad ones that we've seen?
What's the bad ones we've seen?
But some of the scoring droughts and maybe
Is that
not being able.
is that a bad habit, or
not
is
a
that
bad
just?
habit, but maybe a bad trend in not being able to get into your press and maybe some of the identities that we've seen in the losses compared to the wins?
Yeah, again, I'll beat the dead horse. Schedule dictates how you play a lot. UConn's lost 5 in a row. I can go through Ohio State, who I think is really good, has lost 5 in a row. Schedule sometimes dictates how you play, and our schedule has been extremely brutal. And the fact that we've been on the road so much, this is only our second home game in the month of January. So I think it's very easy to look at it and say you're struggling, but I've been around this so long, and my job is to make sure that they understand that sometimes when you go through a schedule, like when we got blown out at UCLA, that was my fault. That wasn't the team's fault. That was bad scheduling. Schedule can dictate how you play, and I think we've had bad spells, but these guys haven't changed. They still worked hard. Their attitude, so that's the thing. Their attitude has been unbelievable. We got back from Iowa. We had the best 2.5-hour practice we've ever had. Their attitude was great. We practiced yesterday for an hour and 45 minutes. I walked off the court and I told the staff we're going to win this game. So the way I look at it is I always look at long term. Like I'm trying to build this program long term to be a championship program, not just 1 year. I'm not trying to do this one time. And it's the same thing. I look at the season. You can't look at the season and sit there and say, well, we've played 4 really, really tough road games, and we've struggled, and we're a bad team now. Like as a coach, you have to look at all the numbers, all the things, and what you're doing. You have to be honest with yourself. Now, when you lose by 40, I agree with you. There's some bad habits going in there, but for the most part, this team has come back. They played well against Ohio State. I thought we played really well against Iowa. Iowa was really good right now. My man Sanford, man, I don't know what he ate in New Jersey, but I've never ate anything like he had, because he's been, ever since the Rutgers game, he's been on fire. And we battled. Like we got down 16, we cut it to 3. We got down 12, we cut it to 6, and had 2 terrible calls go against us. So I left Iowa in a really good mood. I left Iowa knowing that we're a good basketball team, and that we're starting to learn how to fight and starting to learn how to try to win on the road. I don't think we've done it yet. It's the longest answer I've ever had to a question, just so you know. I'm just trying to get out of here so no one else can ask a question. So if you haven't figured that out yet, it was a good question. I'm trying to make sure Ryan can't ask another question because he's itching with the microphone.
I got another Cal question for you. You said he was like willing the most important 7 minutes. Do you see building off of that where he might play more than 7 minutes?
Well, considering the fact that I'll beat the dead horse and talk about the schedule again, they've decided that we wanted to play. Again, I know it's not popular with our fans, but I think Hunter is arguably one of the best college basketball players. Not only and I've seen it in a long time. Now we got to go play against, I think, probably the most dominant center in college basketball, and then I think we play Wisconsin after that. And my man Crowell's playing unbelievable. So he is going to have to play. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it, because I don't know when Pat gets back, but even if Pat does get back, that's not matchups that's going to work in his favor. You have to at least have some size in there. You have to have some presence in there. And so he's going to have to get 7 to 8 minutes a game. So, yes. Thanks, everybody.
Kyle, this question for you. Willard said your 7 minutes on the floor was the most important 7 minutes of the night. Just what are your thoughts on, getting that increased role tonight, especially against someone like Hunter Dickinson?
Yeah, it was a big moment for me. I've been, limited in my time, but I got an opportunity today and try my best to make the best of it.
Cal, did you kind of know heading into practice this week? I mean, Pat is out. Was there a sense that maybe you were going to get an opportunity like this?
Yeah, Pat got out a few days ago, and I got a general vibe that
was
I was going to be playing a bit more.
more nerves or any different feeling heading into this game?
I just wanted to stay focused, stay ready for the moment.
And Jameer, you were kind of nodding along there. What is it like to see a freshman like Kyle come in and play the way he did in those 7 minutes?
I mean, it means a lot. He's been working his ass off in practice, and he's been ready for this moment for a while. So for him to get out there, have very impactful minutes, I'm just happy for him.
Hey, Cal, coming off that pick and roll and that play on the dunk versus Hunter Dickinson, what are some of those thoughts when you went up for the dunk and then coming down realizing that it was him under the basket?
So I've always kind of had the mindset whenever I get the ball, just try to dunk it. So
Oh yeah, coach would have cussed him out if he didn't dunk that. by the way.
yeah, I got it and I went up and I didn't think he was gonna jump at first, but he did, and it was a great feeling seeing my teammates cheering me on. And, yeah.
And for you, Jameer or Hakeem, just watching Cal be able to do that, what was that like for the team morale?
I mean, we already know he could do that. He does it every time in practice. We was just waiting for that moment in the game, and it happened tonight.
For Jameer and Hakeem, you guys both, Jameer, you played 38 minutes. Hakeem, you played all 40. How are your bodies feeling after that, especially knowing that you guys have a couple games in a short stretch coming up?
We just gotta recover. Be smart. Get off our feet. Making sure that we're ready for this road game on Sunday. We really didn't feel. We really just wanted to win the game. So the amount of minutes that we played wasn't really in the back of our heads. We were just going out, just competing and just trying to get the win.
For any of you, obviously, given the opponent and what happened the first time you guys played, was there any, obviously every Big Ten game is important, but was there any extra juice heading into this one, wanting to get revenge, given the fact that you guys were 35 in Michigan the first time?
Yeah, for sure. We're all competitors at the end of the day, and they got us by about 35 up there. So we knew it was kind of like a homecoming for a couple of them, so they was going to bring it. We just had to make sure we came out and threw the first punch, and really just try to pull this one out.
Jameer, coach just kind of talked about how important it's been to kind of make sure you've been patient, been willing to kind of get into the paint and not doing it so frantically. How have you kind of adjusted to Big Ten play, and how does it feel the last couple of games to really dominate inside and put up 30 points, 26 tonight?
All the credits to my teammates, getting me open, setting good screens, and just repping it out in practice, treating practices like games and just working hard. We've all worked so hard, so it's just time to display our talents when we're on the floor. So just trying to win every game also.
Hakeem, Coach, I think said back here. All right. Coach, I think said some. Coach, I think said something along the lines of if you guys went up 5 early, you knew you guys were winning this game. You took that lead early. You never gave it up. Just how confident were you guys, especially even after considering what happened in the last game tonight and this one?
I was very confident since the first 4 minutes. Everybody played with a lot of energy, just kept everybody together. Coaches, everybody was talking. Even the crowd got into it, which gave us the victory.
And then Cal, just for you, real quick. Sorry, just adjusting over to you on the camera here. You talked about just the excitement of getting in this game today, but to come in this game, to posterize not just any player, but to posterize one of the best players in the Big Ten, someone that Maryland fans aren't too fond of. How special of a moment was that for you to do that in this opportunity you had today?
I think it all kind of comes together. The opportunity to play, to be there with my teammates, to really just fight together. I think that's what was most important for me. Yeah, I got a highlight, but just being there with my teammates was great.
Thank you guys. Jameer, we talked to you yesterday about, and he said when Hunter plays these games, it's a bit more personal for him, and we've seen that over the last few years. Do you sense a different intensity on the court? Do you feel that when you're playing in this game?
Yeah, for sure. But we can't let emotions or anything like that get in the way of what we have to take care of business. So he had a great game. He hit a couple threes, which got him going. But we was able to lock in on him, and I feel like we did an overall good job of on the defensive side.
For any of you guys, the defensive adjustments were pretty constant tonight. How do you guys stay in a rhythm defensively that allowed you to hold Michigan to 58 points? So.
Just about overall talk and everybody communicating because we knew what happened. They was gonna try to get the ball to Hunter the whole time. We just had to keep rotating like that.
Oh wait. Okay.
For any of you guys, how much has this coaching staff put an emphasis on taking care of home court? And then also, can you guys just describe kind of the difference between playing on the road and playing at home?
It's no bye game, so road games and home games are tough. We just take it one at a time. But it starts in practice. We get after in practice, and we take practices very seriously. So that's what helped us on the defensive side today, just repping it out in practice, making rotations. And the coach just emphasized that we needed this one. We needed momentum going on the road. So it was big for us to get this win.
Yeah, I guess we asked Cal about his dunks, but I guess you guys as a team had 5 dunks tonight. What were you guys able to do to get 5 dunks? Because that's a lot.
Just attacking the rim, being aggressive, just trying to throw the first punch, trying to get our crowd into it, and just finish strong whenever we have the opportunity. We know what it takes to win, and we have to take every possession very seriously. So just going off 2 feet, just trying to finish strong at the rim and get easy ones was a focus for us.
Hey, Juwan. How would you say that the intensity from today was different from the intensity in the first matchup against Maryland?
I would say that both games was high intensity from both teams. It's just that tonight, give Maryland credit, defensively, primarily in the second half, when we scored. Let's see, was the shot 34%. 34% compared to the first half, we shot 50%. I think in the second half, we relied too much on outside shooting instead of drives, attacking the paint, and then also throwing it inside when Hunter, of course, has a man on his back.
Turnovers really hadn't been a problem for much of the year, but the last 2 games the numbers have been a little higher. Anything for that?
No, it was just not the turnovers that have been high. The game that you're speaking of, yes, that was high. But this game wasn't as high as compared to last game. It was just the turnovers of how we turned the ball over, getting late in the shot clock, not communicating at the end of the shot clock, allowing the guy to know what's on the clock, how many seconds left. And, we've practiced where, all 5 guys must know what the time of possession is left on the shot clock and not get caught in a situation where we now have to cast up a shot or we try to make a pass at the end of the shot clock. And, those are the mistakes that we made, but they also are correctable mistakes that I know we will fix and get better with.
Juwan, I guess 42 points in the paint. I think 18 of the field goals
Yes.
were on layups and dunks. I guess
Yes.
do you feel like you were just letting
Maryland was the most aggressive team, especially not just in the second half, but throughout the game. If you look at the amount of points that they scored in the paint, 42, like you just said, and then also 15 offensive rebounds. It's tough to win on any level of play, whether you're in AAU or high school or college or the NBA. If you allow a team to be able to beat you up like that in the paint and be the most aggressive team, then you're going to find yourself, like we were, fighting and clawing at the end. So, like I said earlier, we will go back home, take a look at it on film. We will fix it, and I trust we will be better on Sunday.
Hey, Juwan, from where we were sitting, that looked about as good and active as Terrence Williams had seen in some time. What did you see from him tonight?
Terrence has been great for us all season long.
Hey, Coach, just what was Maryland doing defensively in particular in the second half that kind of got you guys off rhythm?
Well, they were doing the same thing they were doing in the first half. They would press, and then We did a really good job of handling the press, but then they would go back in their zone. At times, they will also throw a man at you. Just so happened, just in the second half, we became a little bit more stagnant, and we didn't attack the zone like how we did in the first half. But not taking nothing, discrediting the coaching staff as far as the game plan. But there are some things that we did that we hurt ourselves, and we, of course, like I said earlier, we'll fix it. I trust we will.
Yeah, John. Jet picked up those 2 quick fouls. I know a lot of times you have sort of the auto sit policy. Why'd you go sort of the other way today? Did you feel like-
Yeah, I trusted that he wouldn't pick up his 3rd foul, and fortunate enough, it worked. Not saying it always will, but it worked, and he made some really good shots, tough shots for us. There was times where we struggled to score. It was nice to see that he still was aggressive, made some good plays for us. He also was smart enough to know too that having 2 fouls, that he couldn't get his 3rd foul. So that's a sign of growth from a young freshman that he can learn from. But the most important thing is we can't have him in foul trouble because we need his not only just his offensive play, but also what he does out there on the defensive end too.
Rebounding is something you guys have worked on a lot and had a lot of growth on. And in the first half, that was something that Maryland was kind of doing a little bit better. What adjustments did you guys make at halftime to get back to what you've shown early in the season?
Well, we talked about it as a staff, and we share with our guys as far as the accountability part that we cannot continue to allow those easy run-ins for offensive putbacks or allowing them to get second chance opportunities. And I talked about it earlier. Those drives to the basket. If a shot was missed, you saw Maryland, more white jerseys than we saw from our side of blue jerseys being able to to limit them to 1 shots. And 15 offensive rebounds, that right there versus a good team, it's just tough to give a team 15 extra possessions and expect to win ball games.
Does anybody have anything else?